Welcome to the Designated Drinkers Podcast. Sit back and enjoy the ride.
De lado, aqui agora, na lateral, queixo, colado ao peito. Vamos lá, 0, 1. Para um lado, 2, 3.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Yeah.
He likes to do that.
Yes.
Fuck.
Yes, I've listened to it often enough to know.
When I yell at him.
Some
Yeah.
fucking Watergate bullshit?
I don't know what you're talking about.
He just likes the,
Okay, Nixon.
he just likes to get the real deal chatter. you
Right.
know.
The real chatter is
You
exactly.
don't have to edit it. You can, fine. I think Jay Sweattick is a fat son of a bitch. Tag him on Facebook. Magic J. Fat son of a bitch.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Anyways.
Him so angry.
Right.
very angry.
Oh!
Hey, I'm in a great mood today.
Dude, I can't.
I really, you
Bro,
weren't this morning.
Today was a
Listen,
good day.
we were
Yeah,
having
it
like
was
some
not a-
good
It was a good day.
fucking.
I
I
was
had
in
some
a
good
good-
rolls.
He
tonight.
hasn't told me. How did you do against Marissa?
I pretty much kept her off me. You okay? Yeah.
Yep.
How long do you
Um,
think she's gonna last?
She'll be here for about 3 weeks and then gone for another couple months and then.
Back?
I had her in side control for a while, and then I was kind of getting bored, so I was kind of like,
You were getting
sorry.
bored!
I can't,
wait,
like
stop.
I can't really
Stop.
submit.
Go back,
I
that
don't
was
do
awesome.
submissions.
Say that
I'm always
one
on the
more time.
back.
Right.
Go back. That was amazing.
I
So,
said-
Diane says, as my Jersey mother would say,
Hey,
Diane
Diane
says,
says,
Diane.
S-E-Z, by the way,
Says.
says, I had this girl in side control, and I kind of got bored.
You know what that means?
you're getting better.
You gotta kick it up a notch now.
So
Because
she goes, I
That
can't
means I have to
submit.
learn how to actually submit instead
Do
of
we-
being on the bottom all the time.
Do we need
Hey,
to have a side control
Diane,
submission?
she was
line?
begging you to Americana her.
I was trying to straight arm or Kimura her, but she kept on holding on, and then when I really tried to go for it, she got out of my side.
Holding onto her belt or gi?
Yep.
oh,
Remind me on Sunday.
Angelo.
I got
I did the
I got a
whole,
quick
and she was
fix
like,
for
"What the hell?" I did the whole thing, and she was like, "What the hell?"
I got a quick fix
She's
for
calmed
your-
down a lot.
Yeah.
yeah, she used to be
I
a spaz.
thought by the time I rolled her, she was just so exhausted, but
No, she was like that with me.
good.
No, I cross-collar choked her like
Did
16
she, like-
times.
I didn't cross collar choke her.
Did she? No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, it's the
Yeah.
expand. It's the universal.
Yeah, she went from like
expand.
paleo and got real healthy.
Hey guys, welcome to the Designated Drinkers Podcast. Today joining us is myself, Carlo.
Angelo.
Rob.
Diane,
Chris Hoy.
Hey,
Why
thanks.
am I the only guy that says his last name, you fuckers?
because we don't do last names.
We don't do last names. You could do your last name. I don't
Oh, I
doesn't matter.
did.
I mean, you also said
It's
your
for
school-
anonymity purposes, you know,
Oh.
because you know.
And you can also always tell me on
In
that.
here.
I can cut it out.
No, I want my last name in there.
All right, cool,
Yeah, I
cool.
want to be famous someday.
Hey, so we were talking. As I was recording. You know, I was recording a couple minutes before we started, and I like catching people. But anyways, what do you guys think of fake black belts? Like, I see a lot. I love fucking watching those fake black belts.
Well, wait,
like,
are we talking about jujitsu fake black belts?
any? Really? Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
see, listen, jujitsu's the only art that has the bullshit detector where you got to prove it on the mat. The other arts, most of them are bullshit.
Well, I think because there's a thing in the other martial arts where, you know, you get into this crazy, like, you know, as Chris would say, Howard, you get into this crazy, like, eye gouge and
Yeah.
groin grab and all this thing where I can't safely practice this on you, so just believe that I can maim you. Okay, I understand that, but can you fucking really?
right.
You know what I mean? And anybody that's ever grappled against a wrestler and thought that they were going to do whatever the fuck they thought they were going to do, and a wrestler grabs a hold of you, you understand real quick that all of your shit goes out the fucking window, and you're doing nothing but surviving and or trying to better some kind of position, because for the most part a wrestler has all the control in that role, right? So that's the, like when it comes to Taekwondo and Hapkido and all that, and I don't denigrate these arts, but the fact of the matter is, no, because I absolutely love Aikido for the philosophy and for the beauty of the art. Uh-huh. Is it very practical? Yeah, it's practical if you put it into a jiu-jitsu sense, and where you can't go anywhere, I could wrist lock you all fucking day. But a standing opponent resisting to do some kind of Aikido movement is going to be extremely difficult, or it's going to be very, very, very long amount of time to master. And you're not doing that unless you've mastered it. Mm-hmm. Right? So...
Yeah, and I mean, you look at Taekwondo's got, it's changed so much over the years that, Taekwondo gives, 7-year-olds black belts. That's a fucking joke.
Yeah, I
They're
think
playing
so
tag.
too.
So, but like, all right, remember back in the day, right?
Couldn't get a black belt until you were an adult.
But also back in the day, Taekwondo, they used to have some fucking
hard they did.
Hitters.
Yeah.
Like a kick from a Taekwondo guy.
The art that Jason does at Kuxel-Do.
Hey,
those guys still
take a step back.
Those guys kick hard. How much does he had to drink that he's that close to the microphone? I
just like to be...
Guys dry humping your microphone.
I just like to be
go back, please.
It's just it picks you up, that's
your
all.
Your penis is in my face.
Of course it does. So no, like,
That is
like
very phallic, isn't it?
Yeah,
that
totally.
microphone.
See?
The Kuxel-Do, but there's an element of martial arts that is almost, it's almost like jiu-jitsu, right? Where
I don't know, I haven't seen enough of it.
I'm just saying, like any
I'm
art,
guessing.
the farther that you get from the source, the more hypothetical it becomes.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's what happened with Taekwondo, Hapkido, karate.
Lots of arts.
Like, remember, like karate, like there's guys that you could literally break a goddamn 2x4 over their forearm.
Well, there's so many different styles of karate too.
Yeah.
I mean,
and those what's it?
Different styles of jiu-jitsu too, though.
What's that?
Really, I just think there's Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. What else is there?
There's a lot of
I'm
different stuff.
fucking with you guys. Shut up.
What's
That shit doesn't
Kyokushin?
matter. What?
Kyokushin karate.
Yeah.
Like, those guys are pretty fucking legit, man.
I don't follow any of that stuff. I don't know.
Those are the guys that punch trees and do that.
You're talking about like the guys with the giant fists?
Well, they do like
but
it's a bare
Carlos'
knuckle.
question about the fake black belts thing is because here in the United States, people want to sell black belts to make money, and that's where it comes from.
My favorite term to date is McDojo.
Oh yeah,
McDojo.
For listeners who don't know what a McDojo is, actually I don't even know.
Every school owner that is a McDojo is just offended. That's why. They don't want to admit they're
okay,
a McDojo.
none of them are listening.
Trigger warning.
Yeah.
Trigger warning.
Trigger warning, you snowflakes. We're about to make this podcast great again.
Oh God!
So
I got it in. Don't delete that, Joe.
What a McDojo is just as the McDonald's will sell you fries and you get the apple pie for like $1. It's the same thing. So they're gonna sell you a black belt and you're gonna get a degree on your black belt for an extra, $25.
And plus, just
So
like McDonald's, they're on every
means,
corner.
Yeah, it means nothing. It says nothing about your skill as a martial artist. Says nothing about the character that you've developed as a martial artist. Nothing. It is just literally you have a fucking belt, and I literally have a black belt on right now, and it means absolutely fucking nothing because it just holds up my goddamn pants.
You shop at Kmart.
I do shop at Kmart,
I don't blame you.
and I'm a bad motherfucker in the Kmart world. Okay.
Right. I don't blame you.
Deals, son.
I think that's the great thing about jiu-jitsu, though. It's the fact that you're tested. Like when you're talking, Diane, like you did not realize I don't think you still realize how good your jiu-jitsu has gotten until you're rolling with somebody that hasn't been rolling as much, and you're like, oh wow, I didn't realize that I could be a top side control. I didn't realize I could do this part. I just didn't figure this other part.
Beat my ass.
Wow,
every
I
week.
just trained with a person with the same amount of experience from another school, and I just kicked her ass. I wonder why that is.
Yeah, right.
Well, I know why it
I
is.
mean,
If
you,
you
you
test-
stayed there so long, you got bored.
Yeah, you test your steel every single time, and that's what's awesome about it.
Yeah,
Like,
oh, without a doubt.
Mhm.
And the greatest thing about jiu-jitsu, for the safety perspective,
right.
is that you can just tap, and unless you're rolling with a spaz,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and there's those guys out there,
Yep.
you know, the chances of you getting injured are much, much less. Carlo, I'm sorry.
You're fine. I mess with my levels. That's all.
You know, the other thing is there's no way, you know, like when we were talking about like say Aikido or you know, you're gonna teach break falls, but there's no way to, like, honestly, there's no way to gently fall.
No,
You can do it to minimize impact, to minimize injury, but at the end of the day, you are impacting the fucking earth.
I disagree. We have
You
a
disagree.
new crash mat, and I gently fall.
Well, yeah. So you need, you know, fucking 8 inches of padding, and
I think it's
like
12.
8 inches up in
I think
here.
it's 12.
Okay. So
I have not yet crashed
Wait,
on
I'm
the
sorry.
crash mat.
Oh
Is that what you tell your lady? I get it.
no,
I think it's 12.
no.
Your 2 is 12 to me.
See, take off your glasses.
What you
put on
know?
those bifocals.
We're talking about fake black belts, and it makes me think of the no-touch martial artists.
Oh god.
Oh fuck, dude!
What?
I love watching those fucking videos.
Yeah.
Have you heard of a no-touch martial artist?
No, I have not.
They're guys that can beat you up without touching you, knock you out without touching you. And
The best guy that I've ever seen, and I don't know if you've seen his videos, they're phenomenal. I'm sure you have. Is George Dillman.
Oh yeah.
So
God, that fucking guy.
What George Dillman will do is he'll get a row of people, and he'll have them all touch, you know, like a conga line behind a sheet, right? And then he'll, like, you know, do his chi ball, and then he'll let off this big old fucking ki, which apparently in Japanese martial arts means that you can kill anything. But you ki, and then they all fall down because they're all connected to this chi energy that he has thrown at them through this sheet.
When really, what is that? It's the power of suggestion
Exactly.
and all that stuff. And, you know, he already pre-framed them and told them that it was going to be so powerful their organs would probably explode, so they better fall down. You know?
Well,
Yeah.
and my favorite thing is when Nat Geo did
You gotta lift one thumb up and then one toe down.
Like, they had a chemist, right? Not a physiologist. It was just a scientist that is outside of that realm, and they had, unfortunately, one of what was the small circle guy?
Wally J.
Wally J's son.
Oh, I
did
don't
it.
know him. I
So-
train with Wally J.
No. Wally J legit as
Legit.
shit. Right? Legit as fuck.
Yeah.
But Wally J's son got into the Dillman thing.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And he was
well,
doing this
Wally
thing.
J. Sr. was friends with Dillman, as I remember it. Yeah, they were friends, yeah.
But I think Wally J. Jr. got into the actual, like, training methodology and all that. So he's trying to get this physicist or a chemist, whatever he was, and he's like, you know, putting his hands up by his head, and he's like this, and he's like trying to channel his chi, and the guy has his eyes closed, and he's like, oh, and then he tries it again, but at a different angle, and the guy's like, yeah, fucking nothing, bro. Like
he had his
nothing.
eyes closed, and then he opened his eyes. He's like, by the way, I'm opening my eyes because of the fact that I don't have good balance, and I don't want you to think that it's your thing working.
Yeah. So, like, he does this, and he's like, oh, you know, didn't work on you because of X, Y, and Z. And then there's this George Dillman, like, cut. And he's like, well, the guy was a total non-believer. So, A, that prefaces it for, if you want to get knocked out by a no-touch knockout, you have to believe in it, which, you know, every fucking homie down in fucking Cleveland believes in a no-touch knockout, right?
No bullshit. It's just like, you know, the mega churches you see where the guy...
Thank you. I was just going
and
there.
he touches the head
Just
and the guy...
going there.
That's not...
Yeah.
And I'm not in
Swaying
no way
in the
do I mean
spirit.
that as a slander against any form of religion. What I mean is that guy is
I do.
using the power of suggestion.
Right.
Right. He's he's a gypsy tricks.
He's a charlatan.
Do you guys?
Yeah.
Have you guys probably heard of
What is that, selling
something?
snake
I think
oil?
it's like
Something
something
about
Ramsey
Snake
or something
oil,
like that.
so-
There's this guy that debunks a bunch of those like fake martial art guys, a bunch
yeah.
of like the psychics and shit like that. He had his own his own segment on a TV show where he offered he offered $1 million or something like that to anybody that he could not debunk essentially. And he did one where he went to a church and they went with like radio receivers.
Yeah.
And what they did is the guy would call out a name like, the Lord is calling on Mary's whatever.
Jones.
Yeah. And she would stand up and she'd be like, oh, that's me. And he's like, you have an issue. And then all of a sudden, this dude with a receiver heard some woman feeding him info. Because at the beginning of the show, what you had to do to get letters sent to you is you would write your name down, your address,
What ailment?
and then what ailment you had.
Do you guys ever see the
Fletch.
Steve Martin movie?
The Jerk. I love that movie.
No.
No. I love that movie because it looks like me dancing.
That's who he was. He was a preacher that traveled around, Jonas something or other, I can't remember his name, that traveled around and set up these revival meetings in all these different towns, and they had shills in the audience and, had them gathering information for him, and then they would feed it to him during the performance, and he would use it to,
Well, that was
have
the
all of these faith-based, people believe that he was a messenger of God.
That was the same. Remember Fletch back in the 80s?
Oh yeah.
Fletch did that. You know what I mean? Like he had the
Yeah.
thing and he like just bopped someone
Yep.
in the goddamn forehead and they dropped and he's
Fall
like,
down.
"You've been saved by Jesus."
And let me just tell you, because I went to, and it's kind of along the same lines. I went to a massage therapist who did energy work.
Oh, like Reiki stuff.
Reiki.
Yeah, like Reiki stuff, and it helped me. I don't
Power
care
of
why it did.
suggestion.
Again, I don't care if it was
Right,
the power
no,
of
I hate it.
suggestion or
Well,
not.
so-
If it helps you, whatever.
There is a phenomenon that is backed by actual medical science.
Silence.
That is the
He's
placebo
really happy.
effect.
Oh, this is
Placebo.
great.
You know what I mean?
This is
So-
usually when I turn in your podcast and Angela's slurring his words.
Yeah. So the placebo effect can actually,
Without a doubt.
it can affect physiological things. Just like somebody with like a mental disorder can have like fibromyalgia, right? Like to where it's nothing that is clinically diagnosed that is a pain syndrome, but because it comes from a mental state, it can do that, right? So it's all the same thing, and it all works off the same mechanism for belief, right?
Right.
If you believe something to be true at a certain extent, then it can manifest physiological symptoms.
It can, and it's true.
There's a I can't remember. It's a offshoot of Munchausen's, but there's a
Which we've talked about on this podcast.
a disease where a female can believe that
She's pregnant.
so so much that they are
Completely so.
pregnant that they will start to gain weight in the hips. They will mimic the signs and symptoms of pregnancy. Weight in the hips, abdominal distension, lactation. And this is, I mean, they are not fucking pregnant in any way, but they believe that they are so in-depthly that they will,
Yeah.
Symptoms
show
will
signs
come.
and symptoms of
Right.
being pregnant. So, I mean, the mind can play a lot of tricks on you, and I think that's what a lot of the bullshit martial artists kind of they tap into that thing of like they and here's my my cue for bullshit martial artists. If you have a guy that uses a lot of like in-depth medical terms,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
He's probably a bullshit martial artist. So I mean, there's no reason like I've
litmus
been.
test.
Yeah, I was in the medical field for I don't know 2005 to 2016, so 11 years,
11 years.
right? But when I talk to people, unless you ask me specifically for what this is doing, I'm going to say, hey, your windpipe. Because that's what the colloquial name for it is,
Supposed
right?
to trachea
It's not,
or-
yeah, oh, your trachea, your larynx. Like, I don't need to tell you the medical terms. You don't give a fuck,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Your
it's
throat
like,
hurts.
if he's like, oh, well, this hits the trachea and then it affects the, the quadrilateral fucking, seventh vagal nerve, like, bitch, you don't even know what the fuck you just said. Go the fuck home. You know what I mean? Unless you're, like, a physiologist or something like that. If you have a degree in physiology, then okay, I believe you. And I will take everything with a grain of salt still, but at least you have some validity. But listen, bitch, you sweep floors at the fucking Walmart. You don't know what a vagal nerve does. Go the fuck home. Right? Taekwondo.
No, I love that.
Oh God.
That movie is called Leap of Faith, by the way.
Nice.
Oh,
Leap of
okay.
faith. Look it up, bitches.
Yeah,
I
it's a good movie.
It just, I think, sometimes, dude, I sit there and I watch people just debunk a bunch of shit on YouTube. Like the pink man, I think is what his name is.
Yeah, I love that guy.
I fucking love that guy. He's kind of weird. He's got a little
well,
weird.
What's
He's monotone. He's not like as a presenter of information. He's not very good.
Yeah,
But for the information that he presents,
dude, and it's
it is
so good.
very good.
Yeah, man, it's fucking great. He's done like whole fucking videos on debunking like the Black Belt magazine one was one of the best ones I saw, by the way.
I didn't see that yet.
There's one on the Black Belt magazine, and how is a bunch of fucking garbage. And like there was a moment where they would like once the first UFC came out, everybody wanted to fucking fight.
They wanted to do UFC.
Yeah, they wanted to fight, and then the Black Belt magazine would post all these articles on how to defeat the Gracie mount or how to defeat the Gracie guard and all these other things because it was good money for them,
Well, remember that one guy, and I still follow him on YouTube, and I haven't seen a video from him in a long time, but I would always watch his videos. He was a Kenpo guy.
Uh-huh.
And he did a video on how to defeat the guard. So it was like like he had all these fucking rules and crazy shit. But like rule number 1 was like, oh, all right, you pull back your knee and you knee him into the tailbone. Right. If you've ever been in an active guard, guess what? Lift your fucking knee up, you're getting swept.
Yeah,
right? I'm not
that's
saying
right.
it's not going to work, but the likelihood that it's going to work is very, very low. Right?
Against somebody who knows.
Yeah, so it's very, very low. The second one was the eye gouge or the headbutt or something like that. And I was like, once again, if you've ever been in an actual really active guard, good luck on that. Like I wasn't tonight, you son of a bitch.
I didn't headbutt you.
So, no, but I couldn't do a goddamn thing. But the other thing is like, the funniest thing about this video was, and I remember it, rule number 9.
Rule number 9.
Rule number 9 to defeat a guard when you're in a top position was to pull out a pocket knife and stab him in the ribs.
Oh my
or
God.
the abdomen. So, for a guy to say that I am going to teach you self-defense against X, Y, and Z, when you're in a dominant position, pull out a deadly weapon and
Stab them.
to get out of this. So,
Terrible.
and yeah, I mean, it was one of the most ridiculous fucking things. And like I said, I watch his videos. I think Kenpo is one of the absolutely most ridiculous, fucking ludicrous martial arts there ever was.
What's Kempo again?
Kenpo it's a karate system that is entwined with Chinese martial arts, so there's a lot of like leg checking. It's very like, okay, Kempo works against Kempo, because like that this Kempo guy is going to put his foot here for this movement, so you can check this, you can check that, you can do this. There's a panther paw. What, I don't know what the fuck that is, but you can panther paw somebody and you kill them. So whatever, I don't know, and I don't care. So the funny, like,
sorry, I zoned out for a second. I was looking at some guy posting bad martial arts ads.
See, I know you are. So like basically, like the Kempo is
Voice is sounding worse.
Are we watching the same guy?
Kempo's fucking ridiculous, but for a Kempo guy to say that, like, oh, this is how you defeat the guard. You stab somebody.
Yeah, that's
like,
awful.
It does defeat it, though.
But, I mean, yeah, no, for sure.
You've gone from
I mean, you're going to go to jail.
Right.
And that's not self-defense.
You will definitely get to work self-defense in jail.
It's manslaughter. It's illegal manslaughter.
Booty defense.
Yeah, like, here's self-defense in jail. Fucking super glue your beehole tight, okay? That's it.
And there you're not going to have a pocket knife to help you that time.
Right?
Call it
So-
shank.
No,
That's
shiv. Shiv.
Oh, yeah. We
So
Shank is the action.
With-
Shiv is the
Right,
noun.
sorry.
Yeah, shank is the verb, shiv is the noun. We've been over this, sir.
Thank you, Rob.
With
with the
With
jail
that,
lingo.
though, what is your, like, you guys are experienced in martial arts, you know, Chris, you're a black belt. What do you think of people?
Not in
person-
jiu-jitsu, no.
No. Yeah, no, in JKD.
I'm going to be a blue belt
Sealand.
forever.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm okay with
You
that.
guys shut up with that.
No, I don't mind it. I like it.
I know you do, but that doesn't mean, just like there are fake black belts, you guys are fake blue belts.
Bullshit.
Because you're really, like,
Nope.
more
Listen,
than a blue
When
belt.
Scott Burr ties a purple belt on either one of us, we're both going to know we're purple belts.
Ain't gonna be me. But listen, we wear belts specifically that say color does not
Right.
represent skill.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. My belt tells you exactly what the
Amen.
fuck is going on. So I truly believe that I'm a fucking mid to high level, pretty decent fucking white belt. So
Bullshit.
that's what that says.
I call bullshit.
But
Bullshit!
with you guys being experienced, what is your thought on somebody that just fucking grabs a goddamn belt and goes, I'm a black belt at this now?
Well, it's their character. And you're asking about their character. Their character's shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's like any endeavor, you know, like about the guy who stolen valor. It's the same thing. No, let me rephrase that. It's not the same thing.
No, it is the same thing.
What I mean is, they're lying. They're both lying. I think stolen valor is fucking worse than faking
God
it in a
awful,
martial arts
man.
black
No,
belt.
I put it on the same. I put it on the same page because you are telling somebody that you have earned X, Y, and Z, and you have not earned that. You have decided that you are just going to acquire X, Y, and Z because of the fucking internet, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing, right? Like
What was that
somebody
one guy
can
you
say,
like to watch? The guy that would roll around and shoot his students,
"Oh, whatever." The
jump off the walls.
I can't remember. He was
Did that
like,
guy delete all
he
his
had a-
YouTube stuff?
He had a 10th degree black belt in
That was
MMA.
great.
I think that was a Filipino dude too. Yeah, it was awesome.
10th degree
But-
black belt in MMA.
Yeah. So like, here's the thing: is like, if you are going to claim that you are a, like, all right. So I was in the Navy, right? Like, fucking bullshit, right? Compared to like your husband, which was a fucking ranger, right? He gave me books. Right, like there's a field trauma book, there's a ranger handbook that I have that I'm still reading. Like, I mean, phenomenal shit that I could never wrap my fucking head around. And here's this fucking dude that is an expert in tactics, in fucking weapon use, in, goddamn parachuting out of a fucking plane, right? And then you're gonna put this goddamn airborne fucking pin or patch on your bought uniform.
Yeah.
You've never acquired any of these skills. You have no fucking expertise in any of this. And it's the same thing as a martial artist, right? Like, you have not spent the
It's the
time.
same thing as society these days. Everybody wants to
The
be
quick fix.
elevated to, CEO or whatever
Yep.
whatever realm you want to put this analogy in.
Yeah, but I mean, this has
You
been
know?
going on for so long, you know what I mean? And I think it's a symptom of the problem, but like, right, like, Doug probably put, I don't know, 10 to 40 jumps in, right? To be
At least, yeah, I don't know. But
I don't know the actual number of what jumps he made, but he probably put in between airborne school and ranger school a lot of jumps, right? Between, being a marksman with whatever
What did I miss?
weapon.
What did I miss?
Well, we're
was
just saying
my wife was calling from Africa, so I had to step out.
And you
Mama
got off the
Africa
phone
is
that
so
Very
quick.
quick.
Dude, I got off this podcast, which is a very important podcast because that's how much my wife means to me.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, fuckers, hold on. And I want to make sure she didn't oversleep this morning because she's got a boat ride, part of a little bit of a touristy thing today. And I didn't want her to oversleep, so I had messaged her, and good thing I did because I woke her up. So.
Is she singing I Shot the Sheriff?
I hope not.
So,
Eddie Murphy
Yeah.
rules.
so there's, like I said, like, it's the same thing between, like, right, when you go to, like, and it's the same people that claim to be a SEAL or even to be any kind of military, right? Like, we spend hours perfecting X, Y, and Z crafts. And
to
it's the
mention boot
same
camp.
thing. Yeah, well, right. Like,
Not to mention the shit
no,
you go through in
like
boot camp.
no boot camp. You don't spend any hours perfecting anything but listening.
Exactly.
Okay, listen, and that's how you get to boot camp. You listen and you shut up. It's really easy. But it's the same thing with martial arts. Like, we spend, fucking hours upon hours a week, multiplied by months, multiplied by years, to achieve a certain skill level, to achieve a certain fucking,
Status?
aptitude, right?
No, not
to,
inaptitude.
aptitude. Yeah, an aptitude to be able to do what we claim to do, right?
Are belches allowed on your podcast?
Whatever
yeah.
it is, man. That just means you're having fun.
All right.
So we spend hours upon hours
I don't
of
think
time.
there's any limitation on this podcast.
No, there's
Oh, we're
not.
farting.
Not
Yeah.
for-
No, you can
No!
blow it. Bro, you can blow
No,
it right
no.
into the mic.
No, that's
fine.
wrong because that little spongy thing will take the smell and it'll never
Oh
leave.
God,
Yeah.
yes it will.
And
That
I probably-
spongy thing is like corduroy pants.
Oh.
Once you
Carl will be
fart in
rolling
corduroy
home with
pants,
it.
the smell never leaves.
What?
Rob,
He's not wrong.
That has changed my perspective of
Oh,
corduroy pants.
man.
So, I mean, with
It's
the,
not
with the
midnight,
fake
it's
martial arts,
science.
like, what do you, I
Corduroy
mean,
pants, they smell.
if a black belt walks in here, claims to be a black belt, and,
well,
Sit
let's.
down. You need to go sit down.
no.
No, he's good. He's good.
So, like, if they come in here, they claim to be a black belt, and, you just fucking utterly obliterate the dude, right? Like,
right.
I know, and this has never happened to me. Luckily, I'm glad. But I've never rolled with a black belt where I've just annihilated him. But in jiu-jitsu, you would know really quick
If it's
whether
fake, you
this
know right
guy
away.
is legit or whether he's not. And there's a good video about it with Andre Galvao in a jiu-jitsu tournament versus some dude that claimed to be a
Oh, yeah.
jiu-jitsu black belt. And he literally, he just spun on this guy's back and, did whatever the fuck he wanted. And then choked him, or no, he hit him with a Kimura at the end. But it was just you could tell that here's a legit black belt versus some guy that claims to be a...
Mm-hmm.
There is a fucking disparity there. And that's why, I just, for me, yeah, I'm going to stay a blue belt
Let me
until
ask you a
get...
question.
Yeah,
Question?
Let me ask you a question.
yeah.
Trevisano.
Yeah, Trevisano.
Let me ask you a question. And this is off topic, by the way.
No, dude,
Is
that's our
that okay?
podcast.
Sorry, good, because I have AD. And sorry if my voice is getting worse. Good thing I have a birthday party to run tomorrow.
Oh, God.
What were we talking about? Andre Galvao.
Yeah.
All right, how do these competitors make a living not getting paid for jiu-jitsu tournaments?
So...
Endorsements?
It depends on, all right, so, you take your Keenan, your Andre...
You're not going to tell me that there's a Weinstein behind all this, are you?
No, that was Lloyd Irvin. We
Oh,
got rid of him.
oh.
We got rid of him. We got
All
rid
right,
of
all
him.
right, just check.
So no, but if you take these, these big, say Gordon Ryan, right? Gordon Ryan, you know how much his privates are going for right now? Not his dick, his actual
Wait, I was
private
gonna say,
lesson.
what do you
I don't know what he charges
Let me guess.
to get
$500
some of that
an hour.
fucking monkey. Yeah.
Yeah.
$500 for 1 hour with
Wow.
this guy, right?
But
Did you guys listen to that
There's-
podcast at all?
Which one?
The one that I sent you today?
Oh, whoa!
Which
Are
we're
you
not gonna
are you
name
promoting another
Diane,
podcast and a podcast?
I'm in
No.
the middle of listening to a book on tape.
We're not. I'm not going to do that.
Uh-huh.
So
You want to know about my
like,
book on tape? I'll tell you about that.
Let's take it like Gordon Ryan. Like Gordon Ryan is. I mean, that motherfucker is legit as shit. He is a fucking just a motherfucker, right? Yeah. I'll blow Gordon. I don't give a fuck. So whatever. Like that guy is that fucking good. But the thing is, he's done so well in all of these competitions that it's he's gotten to the point where he's so famous that I mean, there's going to be multiple people in any place that he goes.
Hey, Chris, you're leaving?
I have to go.
Oh no, you're good. Thank you for joining us.
No, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. I'm glad you guys kept your clothes on. And
You came close, son.
I'm sorry I have to leave. I have to get up early.
No, you're fine. I just
Are
wanted
you getting
to.
up at 5 a.m.?
No, tomorrow I'm going to sleep in until about 6:30.
I got a fucking question for you on that.
Yeah.
How in the hell did you wake up at 5 in the morning without an alarm?
He didn't.
Do you think they're ready for this, Rob?
I don't think they're ready for this, sir.
I don't think you're ready for it.
I don't think they're ready
What?
for this.
Come on,
The
our
world
listeners
wants
want
to
to know. We want to know.
I went to bed.
Uh-huh.
I laid down. And I said, I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. And I woke up at 4:58.
I mean, I've done that before because my body's like, you're not technically
Not
sleeping.
your body. It's your subconscious mind.
I don't know,
Alright.
man.
That's what I'm
Power
saying.
of suggestion.
Wait, let me give you one more example.
Power
Alright.
of suggestion.
Let me give you one more example.
Okay.
So you guys already know my wife was traveling in Africa and for work, and I'm sorry.
We're in Africa.
She was in East Africa, an island called Mauritius.
Oh, okay.
A beautiful place. Anyway, she was there, working, and I had to take care of the kids for the most part. My mother-in-law helped a ton, and you realize like how much shit your wife does that you fucking have no clue. All you men out there, you fucking suck.
Thank you.
I fucking suck at this, right? Because I had no idea. So my wife's, I get a message from the choir director at school. Melina has a choir thing. They're going to be singing for the old folks. And she needs khaki pants. All right, I'll just go in her drawer. My daughter doesn't own khaki pants.
Oh, okay.
So, you see, Diane's laughing because she already knows that khaki pants are pretty fucking hard to find this time of year for girls. Which is bullshit because boys can find khaki pants any goddamn time of year they want.
Anywhere.
So, we go to the... I go to TJ Maxx. My wife says, just go to TJ Maxx, and because we were calling each other back and forth. And she says, just go to TJ Maxx. And I didn't want her to worry about this. I said, babe, I got this. She goes, well, you want me to do an online search? I said, I got this. Because in my mind, I am not stressing her out about anything while she's on this trip. I got this, okay? I did 18 loads of laundry while she was gone, and I folded and put them all away. I got this.
Okay.
I got that I'm a fuck up when it comes to helping around the house. I got that, okay? But I can't find a goddamn pair of khakis at TJ Maxx. So I go to Kmart. Right? And I'm thinking to myself, all right, I go to Kmart, and that can be the best pair of pants. But one time.
Right.
No khakis. Kind of got a khaki-looking colored jean. I buy it because I'm like, fuck, okay, I got it. So I had a doctor's appointment, went to a doctor's appointment, and I had to go all the way over to Parma because the lady at TJ Maxx told me Kohl's is the only place going to have khaki pants. So going back
Penny
to...
too, I feel like.
That's what I heard too. So, remind me, again, all right? Power of, what did you call it?
Suggestion?
Yeah,
Your
okay.
balls.
So I go to Kohl's. I ask a question about something. Oh, where's the bathroom at? Oh, take the elevator, and then you can go upstairs and blah, blah, and that's where the girls' clothes are. So I go to the bathroom, and all I'm thinking, you ready?
Uh-huh.
Is all I'm thinking, khakis, size 10, girls. Khakis, size 10, girls. Here I am walking, right? I'm probably saying it out loud because I'm a dad who's never really shopped for my daughter's clothes since she was a baby.
Yep.
Because my wife takes care of goddamn everything, okay? I
Okay.
didn't realize that until this week. I'm an asshole. Okay, I get it. I'm working on it. I'm a work in progress. So, I'm walking. Ah, girls' clothes. I turn left. Khakis, size 10. Khakis, size 10. Boom. Clearance rack hits me in the chest. In the chest. I go like this. Guess what's on the end?
Khakis, size 10.
Size 10. $7.40 marked down from $34. Booyah!
Ooh.
Tell me that wasn't the power of motherfucking suggestion.
All right. Okay.
What power of coals? Whatever.
Now, last night, I was feeling this little tickle in my throat and all that stuff, and you guys can make jokes about the tickle in my throat, I'm sure.
Dicks!
The one that codes is the
I
one
said,
that
well, I better make sure I get enough sleep. So I didn't get up this morning until 6. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I still worked out this
Lazy
morning.
fuck.
I know, I still worked out this morning. I still did my thing. You know, and tomorrow I'm going to sleep in until probably 6:30, I'm thinking.
There you go.
Oh wow, man.
I know. But
What
look,
are you gonna do with
Jacko Hoy?
like?
no, Jocko's amazing how he gets up there.
Right.
That's some serious
I
discipline.
Seal, bro.
know. Oh my
But I
gosh.
keep repeating what he says all the time, right? Discipline equals freedom. That's
Yep.
the truth. Truth.
You know.
Discipline equals freedom. I like that.
I
Yeah,
have it on
exactly,
my
man.
alarm in the morning.
Did you download the thing?
I did.
Jocko, if you haven't listened, and we're gonna plug this.
Yeah, sure.
If you haven't listened to the
The
Jocko podcast, get off your fucking
Dude, I thought
ass,
you were going to push the top level.
or sit on your ass
I thought
and
you were
listen
gonna
to
say-
the fucking Jocko
I thought you were going
podcast.
to say, listen.
The Jocko podcast is by far one of the most motivating podcasts ever.
Yeah.
And like, you know, from like a military standpoint, there's always that one fucking guy that is in your division, in your platoon, in your fucking company, whatever, that is the fucking motivator.
Yep.
Right? It's always the guy that is just, I mean, he is the atypical soldier, sailor, marine, whatever the fuck, you know,
But he's the
airman.
most disciplined guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's always that guy. You know what I mean? And he's not always the best, but God fucking damn it, does he always try to be. And you know what?
But
that
this is-
goes a long way.
But that is not just for military people.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Because he's very motivational. He's now he
That's your
now
favorite
does
picture, Mike.
leadership and so on and so forth, and
Yeah.
corporate or whatever. But
See ya.
All right, I'm really out.
All right,
all
Lee.
right,
Suck it easy. Dude, killer fucking cross joke tonight.
Thanks, brother. Thanks,
I fucking hate you.
Thank you. I'm working on it.
Yeah, hateyou.com.
All right.
hate you, Duck.
I already told you my secret to it.
You're a
I
cop.
just told you about it.
Yeah. Power of his fucking
Power
ball
of
sack.
suggestion.
Yeah.
Oh, get out
Power
of
of
here,
his ball sack, whatever. Fuck that guy.
dude.
Love him.
You know, he mentioned Africa, and it reminded me. I last week, I want to say, I watched a bunch of documentaries from Break or not Break. Fuck, what they do, like actual documentaries. It doesn't matter. It's some company, and Dice. I don't fucking know. It doesn't matter. And one of them was about the cannibal armies, the cannibal leaders of Africa, the cannibal lieutenants of Africa, or some shit like that, dude. And I was like, that's a clickbait thing, but I'll click it. So I clicked it. I was watching on YouTube, and it talks about these fucking generals. Each of them have their own like weird title.
Yeah.
And some of those were cannibals. One of them, the most renowned one, is this guy, and he called himself General Butt Naked. Because General,
Say what?
it's a funny
Oh,
name,
piqued
man.
Rob's interest.
Yeah, it's a funny name, General Butt Naked. But the thing about it is, he had child soldiers,
Yep.
and what they did before they went into fucking war with another fucking place, they killed a fucking infant and they ate it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right, man, it's fucking insane. And the thing about this whole documentary was about essentially the end, like the last like 30 minutes of this documentary were about this guy, and he went on to into a trial in Africa, of course, in Liberia, because this is where all this happened. And all he said was, "Oh yeah, I was a bad person then, but now I'm a Christian," and that's it. Yep, I mean that's
So-
all I could say. And the thing about it is, he didn't go to jail for it at all.
So my thing is with that, right? It's like there are, I mean, just fucking atrocities that happen around the world. Now, some of them are cultural. Some of them are just because there is no repercussion for said action, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, there are, I mean, the most heinous fucking things that you can ever imagine do happen around the fucking world on a daily basis. And that's what pisses me off when you have people that are like, oh, America was never great, or X, Y, and Z. Like, motherfucker, do you understand what the fuck would happen if you were a woman in Liberia?
Oh, yeah.
No, you don't. You have no fucking clue because you were fortunate enough, right? And, dude, I get it. Like, we are, as a country, we are far from fucking perfect. But, goddamn, you have never seen the shit that there are fucking millions of people around the world that have to see as a part of their daily life. And you should be fucking thankful for that, at least.
It's all about attitude, right?
Right.
It's all about your perspective and how and how you view it. And believe me, I have things, about this country that I wish were different right now.
Yep.
Of course.
But it doesn't mean that we're not fucking lucky for being born into this country or living in this country and having the privileges that we have.
It's a documentary by Vice, by the way.
Vice, okay.
Yeah, it's called The Cannibal Warlords of Liberia. If you guys want to watch it, it's a good documentary.
I might have to watch it, but
yeah, it's good.
I probably won't because I don't like that kind of shit. But
Yeah.
one of the biggest things that I've heard, and over some of the YouTubers and shit that I listen to, is that they call this the Great Experiment, right? Like, America is the Great Experiment. It is a work in progress. It is something that is ever evolving, right? We're not perfect. We're not there, quote unquote, yet. Mm-hmm. But we are striving to get there.
Right.
And it's a work in progress. Like, we're not perfect. Nothing is ever going to be perfect, but we can get as far or as close to perfect as possible.
Right.
Now, yeah, there's a lot of people that are not in the fold. There's a lot of people that are being looked down upon. There's a lot of shit that's going on. But the fact of the matter that you can voice your opinion, you can protest, you can do this stuff and not get shot in the fucking face in town square, right? As
a conversation. You say that, but I'm also going. There's a possibility you'll get shot in the face.
But put your view out there because I want to know it. Because if it's a legit view, I will concede.
Well, no, I mean I'm just saying there's always a possibility of you getting shot here. There could be a crazy guy that's not happy with what I have to say and he shoots me, or
put it this way. There's no government that says this is illegal.
Right.
You're going to be executed now with no trial,
right?
Or whatever.
If that guy shoots you in the face, he stands trial for something that he did wrong. There is no state-funded thing to say if you disagree with me, you die.
Right. No,
and there are zero repercussions. Right.
And I agree with you. I think there's a lot of power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely going on.
Right. No, totally.
But again, at the same time, you're talking a whole different level than what's going on in some countries.
Right.
Around the world.
It's
hard.
What stuck to me about this documentary was around the end, the guy that was interviewing this guy, because this general takes this guy everywhere, but he was there's a moment where the general is doing a sermon, right? Because he's a Christian now.
Christ.
He's a Christian now, right? He's doing a sermon, and he
Don't
calls him up.
your anti-religion thing.
No,
I'm bringing it in.
No. So that's the thing, though. He's doing a sermon, and he calls the guy up, and he's like, "He's my friend, and from America doing a documentary. The people are gonna see this, blah 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 blah." And the guy, dubs in. He's like, at this moment, I liked him. I like this guy a lot. And what is that? What is that? What is that thing that people that get kidnapped, they start relating to their
Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, it's this like weird Stockholm syndrome that happens with this guy. And then I realized, looking at him, I'm like, he's murdered millions of people. Because this guy has killed thousands of people, and he's like, it's just something that happens. Because of how he is, his personality.
But I mean, if you look at it from a sociological kind of standpoint, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, was this guy wrong in what he did? Yes, to our belief system, right? From an American belief system, right? To where, you don't kill people. You don't in fucking third world countries, in Africa, in fucking the Sudan, in goddamn fucking Syria. Like, dude, these fucking laws don't exist. There is no code of conduct.
Beliefs.
Yeah, there is no code of conduct that matches ours. So, was this guy wrong in what he did? Yes, in our belief system, right? Is genocide wrong to our belief system? Yes, right? I believe that it is wrong. But in another belief system that you have grown up in a tribal belief system where you need to take out all the other tribes so that your tribe can proliferate and become the dominant, species, if you will. Incorrect term for that, right? That is not wrong. That is what you are supposed to do.
Right.
Right? So, like, I understand the Stockholm Syndrome, and where, you can like this guy, and he's a nice fucking guy, but he just has a completely 180 belief system than you do. Rob, what do you have to say about this?
The culture informs the personality of the people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I took a course in college called The Theory of Culture and Personality, and it was taught by a professor named Olaf Prüfer, and he broke it down. One of the things we talked about was like the Munduruku, which is a South American tribe. We talked about them, and we broke down, like, they got their name Munduruku from a particular type of ant, and how the ant would swarm. The people got the same name because that was their battle tactic. They would just swarm over their enemy. Nothing was left when they were done. They were very warlike, very into like ancestor worship, and some of that stuff. A lot of cannibalism, trophy, take heads as trophies, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And it almost destroyed them. It definitely stunted their development. Clearly, everybody else hated them. I think there's maybe 14,000 or so left in the whole world, maybe.
But they stayed as a very tribal people, right? Like, which is when you look at the ancestry of our species, right? We all started out tribal, right? Your goal is to pass on your genetics to another generation, right? And to outweed other genetics.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're going to have the I pass on, but you die so that you can't, right? It's a very tribal thing. So, and that's why I say, like, the great experiments of America is fucking awesome, right?
Yeah.
Because we don't have that anymore. It's like me, right? Puerto Rican, Italian, Irish, my wife, Filipino, German, Dutch. My children are all of those.
Smorgasbord.
Your children are going to be very fucking diverse.
Right.
Right? And then their children are going to be even more diverse. Like, so you're going to get to a point where I honestly think in this country, the racism is going to go away. Right? Because...
But that's the thing is, I legitimately, before all this shit happened everywhere, I legitimately I can say I'm not very brown, so I could say I am a white person,
a white Hispanic,
a straight white Hispanic. Thought I was like, oh, racism is not as bad as it used to be, but I'm totally wrong about it. It's just it hasn't been out in the open until recently. Mm-hmm. Like,
I agree.
Nobody comes out with tiki torches.
It's
not as I don't know, man. I don't think it's been out like
it's much. people are much more subtle about their racism now.
Yeah.
In general.
So, like, I know that I can 100% get behind, right? Like, people are much more subtle. But you cannot tell me that racism is worse now than it was back in the day.
No,
Like,
I just thought it was dead.
No, yeah, well, and
It's
you know
not
what?
dead.
Okay,
It's not. I know
dead.
that. I know that.
But
It's definitely not
is it far better than it used to be? Absolutely.
I would fucking hope so.
Absolutely.
Right.
Right. Like.
Yeah.
Right. And I
think-
don't mean to like do the whole fucking like white guy thing of like, oh, we had a black president, right? But there was a time where black folk never understood that they could become something more than what they are, and now you got this black guy that was a president. That is a
Big step.
sign that look, times are changing. We're not perfect. We are not. There is fucking racism, okay? Like, you know, my wife, Filipino and white. She is a hybrid kind of thing. You don't really know what the fuck she is. You know what I mean? That's kind of what attracted me. I was like, oh, you're kind of exotic. I don't know what the fuck you are. I think you're Asian, but you might not be. Like, hey, let's hook up. But, you know, it happened to be she was Asian. I'm a happy man. But anyway, so when she was in CSU 2001, September, she didn't go to school because people didn't understand that she was Asian. They didn't know if she was Arab. So she legit felt pressure. Like,
Threatened.
okay, if I go down there, there's all these fucking hillbillies that don't understand the difference between a fucking Hindu
Right.
and an Arab and anybody else with fucking brown skin, right? So, like, I understand that. My dad is fucking very brown, right? I understand that there is quote-unquote institutional racism. There's a level of it that is just fucking laziness, but there is a level that is correct,
Right.
right? So, I get that. But, you know, the people that are, racism just is as bad as it's ever been, like, bitch, you never lived in fucking Jim Crow laws.
Right.
Like, there are black people in the fucking 50s that grew up as a child in the 50s will tell you right now, you have it better than we've ever had it in your life.
That just reminded me. Go ahead.
So, if you go on Hulu, right,
Uh-huh.
they have a throwback 90s, like, thing, right? And I'm watching Family Matters.
Oh, I love that show.
Right? So with Urkel and all that, love that show. Always love that show.
Did I do that?
Yes. But you know what? In the 90s, they were the pinnacle of understanding how the black family operates when everything else was just, a fucking white family. They were not the first,
No,
but
not the first.
not the first.
Cosby.
Yeah, but they were like a lot of when Eddie got arrested for being black in the wrong neighborhood, when they wanted to bring black pride into the school, and there was this controversy, and now that I look at it as an adult, I go, holy shit, I had no fucking clue what the 90s were like. Right? I knew Rodney King, I knew Amadou Diallo, I knew all that shit, but I didn't understand it as I do as a fucking 34-year-old man, right?
Well, and I don't think we will ever understand it as not being African American.
absolutely
either,
not.
You know?
I mean,
Absolutely not.
In
No.
so much as we can understand it, I think is what he meant. Like,
Yeah.
Well,
you gotta
but
understand
but
it
there's
to
a, there's a
point
much
without
different
having
like.
lived it.
Of course, your perspective, your maturity level, your understanding of
Exactly.
the social, whatever,
Yeah, now
is much more expanded as an adult.
Exactly. I have a much better grasp on what society is and how things work, and now I can look at that show from the 90s and go, oh shit, that's actually fucking pretty legit.
Yeah.
Right? And it's, like I said, it's not to say that...
They always had to have that afternoon special, though. Every show had one. Everyone had that one afternoon special where they had to teach you something.
Yep.
But at the same time, I
Yeah,
think
I'll do it.
it's the...
Well, what was it? MASH did it too. MASH had that whole episode about transfusions and
Fresh Prince,
the whole
Fresh Prince was
no,
big
not
on-
AIDS. The
big on
African American, the transfusion where the guy was racist and he didn't want blood from a black soldier.
Don't remember that.
Oh, you don't remember that one? Yeah,
MASH was
pretty
way
good.
after my time, man.
Well, and so all right,
Go
so
away!
Diane is going like 10 years before my time. I'm going 10 years before yours.
No,
So-
I watch Family Matters religiously.
Did you watch Fresh
Yeah,
Prince?
no, but
Reruns, but religiously.
I was gonna say, like, so Diane was watching MASH when it was on.
Right.
I was watching Family Matters when it was on.
Yeah.
You're watching my
whole,
reruns. I was watching her reruns. So
They did a whole episode about a Caucasian soldier who was racist and didn't want a transfusion of blood from an African American. And they talked about the whole episode in, I don't know where it was, someplace down south, where you couldn't, the blacks and the whites couldn't go to the same hospital, and basically there was someone who died because they had to travel to a hospital that was for blacks only, and
That's
and,
crazy.
Whatever. And I can't remember, you would get into this because of the science, but I can't remember who it was that, there was some scientist who
basically said that your blood is
that
just as good as his. Yeah,
exactly
it's
the
the same
same.
physiological thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So but that's the thing. It's like when you look at what people are saying now, as far as racism is worse than it ever was. Like, no, fuck you. Like,
I think that
dude, do not downplay what your ancestors, your fucking grandparents went through. They went through some fucking racist shit. And that is fucking terrible.
Personally, I think the problem is that we have someone in a very high position in this country who is
Preaches hate.
thank you.
He preaches hate.
I don't know how to
All right,
to say it.
and
And I think that it's that undercurrent that's always been there. That's not necessary. That is not. I agree with you. Like it was before, but there's that undercurrent that's there that now feels empowered to speak up and whatever. So we're hearing about it more.
I will 100% go with you on that, right? Like, I understand that we have a leader right now that is not going to denigrate X, Y, and Z. Like, he's not going to, do what maybe should be done. However, look at the last president's term, right? Like, you had the Missouri, right? What town was that in Missouri? That was we had all these riots and all this shit, right? So, but that was during his term, where he would
true.
do that thing, right? So, has
That's
this
true, but
but so what I'm saying is this a problem of this president? I say no. I say this is a problem that is boiling, that has been boiling, that maybe it has come over the edge of the pot, right? Mm-hmm. And now you're getting a guy that is not going to speak out publicly because, honestly, it's not a federal fucking government issue. It is not the president's purpose to speak on these issues, right? Because we are federal government. We are not social. We're not socialists.
I don't know that I agree with that part of your
Rob, you have something to say?
I
Go
think
ahead.
some of it's a function of time. Though when you look at it, we're 50 years out, and that's it. In the scope of a country and the scope of societal change, 50 years is nothing. I mean, my father's 65 years old.
Right.
You go back 50 years,
So
he was 15 years old when all that
what
stuff
are you
was
saying,
going on.
Rob? Is I should just wait a couple of years until you old fucks start dying off, and then it won't be as bad.
Fuck you,
What are you trying to say about
Josh.
me?
Fuck you, Carl.
Hey, shit, pipe down over there, pipsqueak.
I am the oldest person in this room, and I will beat your ass.
So, like, all right. So, and here's what I mean by this, right? It's like when I say it is not the federal government and that is who he is, right? He is the federal government. It is not his job to speak out on social issues, right? Like,
Would you say the same thing when it came to the federal government stepping in once we desegregated schools?
but that is not a federal government thing, right? So no.
But if
so
the
I'm not
federal-
saying that what is right and what is wrong, whatever. If you look at the federal government, right, like say take gay marriage, right? That is not a federal government thing. That is a state thing. So the state.
Is it not, and I am not a government person, so, but is it not the federal government's job to make sure that in this country we are all treated equally? We all came through that somehow except for Native Americans, right? We all came through Ellis Island. Our ancestors all came through Ellis Island.
Yeah.
We're all immigrants. We all started out someplace. Our history started out someplace else and came to this new world, that was developed in America. And the government set forth this thing that we were not going to that we're all created equal, that we're not going to discriminate against by religion, by color of our skin, whatever, all of this stuff. And again, it's a process. We've been evolving in it. But that is the base argument. And that, I think, is a federal government job.
So it's all in the bill, right? Like, it says that in the Bill of Rights. We are all created equal, right?
So it's not the president's job to
enforce that.
Yeah, to make sure we're still working towards
that. What does the president enforce? The president
I got an answer for you. The rich people. That's what he enforces. Have you seen this motherfucking tax plan? There are terms for fucking private jet planes.
Okay, so
that saves you money. I don't give a fuck.
Saves you money, bro?
Saves me money.
All have a private plane?
No, the tax plan saves me money.
All I know about the tax plan is from what I've heard, and I am not a tax expert.
Neither am I.
So I would love to be one, but all I know is that I am going to get a break, and I'm happy about that.
Are you 100%
sure about that?
On that?
From what the video I saw was
based
with
on
your boy. What was your boy? The video that you showed me.
Yeah, but the plan has changed exponentially.
Okay, well,
since that video,
I don't know about that.
Right.
And here's
There's
the thing:
also you also have to look a little bit long term, because
I don't look long term.
What I've heard is like for this year or whatever, this is going to happen, but by year 5, if this plan stays in place, which is a big if, I'll give you that.
I don't think it. Yeah.
But if this plan stays in place, the tables turn significantly.
Okay, so but that's one of those things, like, right, like they are, like, let's not fucking beat around the bush at all. Anybody in fucking Washington is going to be looking out for people who make at least a fucking $250,000 or more, because that's the base rate in fucking Washington, out for right? Themselves. So they don't
essentially.
They are so disconnected, and it's the problem that back in the day, your government was
volunteer,
a volunteer and extracurricular activity. It wasn't a profession, right? Now it's a profession. Once you make it into a profession, you want to keep your job. Just as anybody else wants to keep their job. So I don't denigrate them for it, but I do think that it is a flawed system.
And I think they should have terms too, man.
Well, absolutely, for Congress, for sure.
I also
think
don't
they
think
should not be paid. I think it should be a volunteer.
Absolutely. Well,
there's no reason for the amount of time that they spend actually doing their job, as opposed to.
I think they should be paid.
Whatever.
I don't think they should be paid how much they're paid right now.
They shouldn't be paid for life.
Here's what they should be paid.
Once you're done, you're done.
Yeah, that's right.
They should be paid to the equivalent of what their rank is. Right? So as an E1, E2, as a private or a seaman recruit, or as a fucking airman basic, you get paid a certain level. When you move up to sergeant or tech sergeant or petty officer first class,
what is your...
You get a certain pay increase. Now,
my
when
God.
you move from that to general
But what's your
lieutenant,
criteria for moving?
Can
them
we
and
just talk about how much money these motherfuckers make?
What,
The average-
450,000?
The average Joe of a congressman, there's 529 of them, of course, gets paid $174,000 per year. Okay,
That's not even
that's
bad.
but not everyone has that average. The House Speaker gets paid 223,000.
For the rest of his life.
Well, the majority and minority leaders of both Senate and the House, along with the President pro tempore, get paid $193,000 per year.
So if you look
Fuck me, that's a lot of money.
Yes, it is.
So if you look at government as a military rank structure, right? You have your mayors, governors, senators, congressmen, and then the speaker and all that shit, right? Right? So there should be a structure of, boom, you get paid X amount, boom, 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 boom,
Okay.
boom. While
So-
you're in. And if you do 20 years, because you have earned 20 years in the Senate, you get paid X. Just like our military does, right? Like,
So
I did
how much
6
does your military pay?
Well, but and
This is
now,
another issue.
No, but look, you can't equate a fucking private to a goddamn.
Mayor? Yeah, I can.
No, you can't.
Why?
Because a private has 0 qualifications to get into the army. A mayor.
A mayor runs on their popularity.
Yeah, but you have to have some kind of
They usually
So
you don't have
when-
to, but they usually have more experience.
So here's what I'm gonna say: as a E1 in the Navy, right? I got in strictly based on I took a test and I passed boot camp. That's it. There was no qualification other than that. I graduated high school. I was fucking barely smart enough to get in, and I passed boot camp. That's it. So there was nobody else going against me in a primary to say that I was good enough or I was the better man.
Right, but
to
you
get in.
They didn't
need no experience to become a mayor of a town.
They didn't go up
you
to
just need to
Angelo
run.
and say,
You
"No,
need to
but
apply a.
You have
you
to
need
have
to
a
apply?
strategy, right? And if the strategy
Not
is not
necessarily.
there, that is not your fault. That is your electorate.
I think what he's trying to say is somebody didn't come up to Angelo and go, "Hey, Angelo, we want you to start making the Navy great again." Right?
I made the fucking Navy great again.
They they do that with mayors. They go, "Hey, we want you to start making the city great again."
I
But-
have as an E1, E2, E3 in the Navy, right? I have 0 responsibility on how the Navy operates. Right? There are fucking generals, admirals, whatever branch you're in. There's a different leader of that dictates
you're a plebe.
how that happens. I'm not even in the fucking toilet bowl. I'm what happens after the toilet bowl, and all the fucking shit gets clogged up. I probably caused that clog, right? Like, that's me. So if you're gonna take, I agree with term limits, but you have to earn your seat, and if
I
you
think
earn
that-
your seat, you need to get up in rank, and your pay is
Will increase.
equivalent to
what you're doing.
sitting in the house,
I'm not
right?
opposed to that in general. We may disagree on the mayor versus
Okay,
E1 thing,
yeah.
but whatever. I'm not opposed to that. But what does an E1 pay?
Shit.
Thank you.
Right?
What
But
does an E2 pay?
but
Let's say you want an E2 for a mayor, or you want to kind of equate those.
so but you also all right. So let's go with an O, right? Because E's are we're talking about different shit, right?
Oh, it's getting late. That's all I'm saying. So.
I know you're getting late. You're getting
Yeah.
tired, just sissy. I'm the only one that's.
Bye, Rob.
Back.
Bye, Rob.
Thanks for joining the podcast.
I have to
Rob's
work tomorrow
gonna. Yeah,
from home.
Rob's gonna be on the next podcast, anyways.
Yeah, I can't wait, dude.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking.
We're
Are
talking
you
about
really?
superheroes.
Dick
You
in the
can be
dirt.
on the next podcast.
Yeah, they're tapping into my useless nerd
I'm gonna
knowledge.
fuck him up.
Yeah, man, we're gonna talk a bunch about
Nice.
superheroes. I should
So-
have Joe be in that one.
Oh yeah.
Joe be a good one.
Oh god, this would be so good.
Yeah, totally. He knows about stuff.
So, like, my thing
Bye.
is with
Bye.
this, right? Like,
Bye, Felicia.
Auf Wiedersehen, Felicia.
right? If you look at the O's, right, the officers, right, these are your people that have degrees, that have spent X, Y, and Z time earning a degree.
The West Point grads that get killed by their men.
Let's not take out West Point, because I can graduate from Cleveland State tomorrow and go get a commission, right? Like, it doesn't matter what school you're in. Let's just put that out there, right? Like, so your O1, right? They make, compared to an E1, about 5 times, right? So you pay a mayor X, you pay a fucking congressman X, but the goal of this is that you need to earn your pay, you need to earn your spot, and if you get to retire from the government, then you get paid for the rest of your life. If you do 4 years as a mayor, or even if you do 4 years as a congressman at X, Y, and Z level, you get nothing. You have to work for the rest of your life as a past congressman. You shouldn't get that just for the office that you've held.
Right. And here's my whole point with this. I think that our government does not treat our military personnel like they should at this point in time.
They do not.
They are underpaid. Their supplies are underfunded, and they are basically treated like shit. And they are the ones that are defending this country.
Disagree.
Really?
And here's why. I got paid far more in 2008 in the military if you factor in what I do not pay for medical, what I do not pay for housing.
So including benefits.
Yeah, so if you look at all that stuff, right, when I got out of the military, I was making, as an E4, was 6 years in, about $50,000 a year. That is not bad for a guy that is 25. Okay, so just boom.
Go ahead.
When I got out into the private sector, right, civilian world, my experience, my qualifications, everything counted for absolutely
nothing.
Dick. I got paid $24,000 and I took over a 50% pay cut to get out of the military. Right.
Here's the thing I have with that, though. You have sports people. You have even construction workers and things like that. They get paid based on like a hazard pay. Yeah. So when you sign up in the military, you could be going to war and you could die for this country, to serve this country with basically nothing, You are signing over, the phrase that they use, right, is you sign a blank check to the United States up into and including your life.
Yep.
That deserves hazard pay.
Okay.
I think
the sports star that could ruin his career because he gets a sprained ankle or a broken ankle, that is not hazard pay worthy.
No, and you know
what I'm saying?
That is something that I completely agree with, right? Like, I mean, yes, trust me, I would have liked to get that fucking pay. But like, say for me, right? Never entered a combat zone, never deployed, I was never in harm's way.
Because of circumstances.
Well, no, because did I sign on in fucking October 2001 when I watched those fucking buildings go down? Yes. Right? It was in September. I signed up in October. I don't remember, I remember history. So yes, I remember that. But my experience is that, I was never in harm's way. So where do you separate between when you're in Iraq, when you are in a Navy, like, right? So Navy, we're kind of fucking pussies, right? A little bit. Like, we save everybody's asses, but we're kind of pussies, quote unquote. I'm just putting that out there. So we're 100 miles offshore, right? Are we really in harm's way? No. Iraq and fucking Afghanistan, they don't have a Navy. They have nothing that can even come close to even touching us.
Okay.
We are safe.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
That is situational at that moment. At any moment, that could change.
True.
And at that moment, if you get ordered to go and engage another country's navy,
I'd fucking
you
love
go.
it. I'd love it.
And then you are at risk.
Yeah.
That's like saying that, and I had a problem kind of processing this, and I think Doug does too, has a problem processing this because he never served in wartime. He signed up right after the Vietnam War, and he got out before Desert Storm.
Yep.
So he was right in that channel of non-combat, right?
Yep.
Does that mean that his sacrifice was any less?
No. So like.
This is what I'm saying.
Here's my thing: is like, right? I signed up in an active time of war, right? I signed up with the mission to go to war. Signed up as a fucking aviation mechanic, right? Because that's what I qualified for. And then I chose the only job in the Navy, well, not the only job, but one of the jobs that I qualified for in the Navy to be an active combat personnel, right? Be a corpsman, right? I wanted to go out there. I wanted to deploy with my Marines. I wanted to save lives, extend lives. I wanted to do that. I wanted to be that bad motherfucker, right? I never got that opportunity. Does that mean that what I did is any less than anybody else? I say yes.
Why?
Because there are 19-year-olds right now, right? The millennials, right? That are going through shit that I couldn't even fucking imagine, right? I've seen the worst of humanity that I have seen from my side, right? I've seen people blown to bits. There's stories I can tell you that are fucking terrible about people that have come back from the war. Have I ever had to put one of them in the ground and go to one of their funerals? I have not. It is a level of fucked up that I have never had to experience. The reason I got out of the Navy is because I had an LPO that told me he was with the invading force in Fallujah. He was with I want to say 3 Marines, and he was an interesting dude, because in the Navy you get this thing when you're a corpsman. It's a Fleet Marine Force pin. And you have a qualification to meet for it, and that says that you have served with the Marines, right? And that you're this bad motherfucker, right? He never got it. He served 4 years with this fucking battalion. Saw everything that this battalion saw. Did everything that this battalion did. He never got the ribbon because he didn't want to do the test. He's like, look, my test was this guy that's still alive, right? So there was a bureaucracy. I always respected the guy, right? Underwood, if you ever listen to this, I love you, dude. But he told me, and this is what got me out of the Navy. He said, you don't want my dreams. And I said, what the fuck are you talking about? Because he was the LPO, I was his ALPO, Assistant Lead Petty Officer. I said, what the fuck are you talking about? He goes, dude, I put my wife through the wall. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Literally woke up,
PTSD.
had a PTSD like dream. His wife tried to wake him up. He picked her up and threw her. Not in a abusive way.
No, he
but
was still
he
dreaming.
didn't know where the
he
fuck
was under
he
attack.
was.
Yeah, he felt like he was under attack.
Put her
he was
through a
protecting
wall.
himself. Yeah.
Threw her so hard that she went past the fucking
Yeah.
sheetrock.
Yeah.
You know, that's a good impact. And he said, you don't want my dreams. Dude, you just had Christine. Do yourself a favor, move on with your life. That's what got me out. And I regret it, but I don't in the same time. So like, and I'm sure Doug feels the same way. Every night that you go to sleep, you go, was I worth it? You know what I mean? Like, I did what I did. I served in a glorious time, all that. I served around a bunch of fucking warriors. I've taken care of men and women that, I mean, are so much better than me that I can never even begin to imagine. But at the same time, I have never had their sacrifice, right? So am I worth it? My answer is yes.
Yes. I see that. I mean, I get what you're saying, but this is a deeper issue. This is an issue of, and this is your character and your humility and your, whatever coming into play here. You save lives. That was how you served. And the guys that you saved, you think they're gonna say, oh, that guy was nothing. He never served in. You saved their fucking life. They have families and children today because you did what you did.
Yeah.
That's, everybody serves a function in this society. Is the guy who collects the garbage any less? Well, ask the guys with the New York garbage strike how they felt about, having all that garbage pile up because they didn't want to deal with it because it was above them.
Yeah.
Everybody in this society has a place. We're all cogs in this thing, and if one cog breaks, the whole system goes down.
Well, that's what I had a fucking mental breakdown a couple months ago, and I reached out to a group that I'm in Facebook, and they were like, look, dude, it takes all spokes of the wheel for that wheel to operate, right? Mm-hmm. So I was like, dude, that's fucking powerful. That's I appreciate that because my whole military career has been, I'm not good enough, right? Like it's always that. And there's a lot of fucking people that I know that have sided with me that are like, oh, dude, I did X, Y, and Z, but I didn't do this, right? I never served in combat, and I never deployed. But did I do something that is important? Yeah. Did I take care of, in Bethesda, fucking vets that are World War II, World War fucking, World War II, I didn't do any World War One. World War II, Vietnam, Korea. Did I take care of these guys? Did I have the guys that are coming
plus
back?
The current ones, yeah.
I mean, guys that are fresh from Germany getting fucking loaded into our hospital. Mm-hmm. Yes, I did. I served my purpose, right?
Right.
And I did a good job. I did what I was there to do. And I did it to the best of my ability. But you, as a vet, you always have that thing, like, if you're not combat, you're not worth it. And it's nothing it's not what everybody else sees. It's, as a vet, it's what you see.
Right, but it's you comparing yourself to other people and thinking, could I have done more? And that's just a part of your character.
Well, so
that's a part of, I think, well, what the fuck am I doing with my life? I mean, I'm serving in a law firm, and I
killing
do
it.
Fucking database work.
Yeah, but you're killing it.
Well, what the hell is that worth?
You keep that fucking place running.
But we all do that, is what I'm saying, in our lives.
Carlo keeps this fucking place running because it's all fucking, IT
nowadays
based,
it is
right?
all IT based.
So for me, and I
thought you were talking about jujitsu. I did do that too.
You did run from me, bitch. But I'm sure, Doug, if we were to have a conversation about this, him and I would probably be very I find Doug, even though he wasn't in a combat time or whatever, so much more fucking advanced and so much more badass than I fucking ever could have been, right? Because of his stature. He's a bad motherfucker. There's no way about it. He's a bad bitch. And that's it. The respect for that guy is fucking phenomenal.
But see, and he would be, he never talked about his military career. I knew he was in the military, obviously.
Yeah.
But he never talked about it. He never referred to himself as a vet.
No.
Nothing.
Because you know what? He was a high-level dude. It's what in the military you call the silent professional. Right? They don't talk about it. He was a bad motherfucker. At some point, I'm sure Doug is like, all right, this guy's a fucking medic. There's a level where he's like, all right, this guy knows some fucking shit that I don't know. You know what I mean? So there's a mutual respect, but I'm always going to hold him at a higher esteem than I hold myself. He might hold me at a higher esteem because I was a medic, right? We have that constant fucking thing of we are not good enough. right? There's guys
Tell
that are
me
coming
about
home.
that, man.
There are guys that are.
There's guys that coming home that should be in massive therapy because of that, and they all should,
There's guys that are coming
take a
home
look from
with
somebody
fucking
else's perspective.
limbs that are missing.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
all types of combat stress. There's all types of shit. And you know what the first thing they say is? I'm not there with my guys. I'm not there. I am
Or
a loser.
I may be this, but my buddy died.
Yeah.
My buddy is not here
there's,
anymore.
There's
and their
survivor's
family.
remorse. There's all types
there's
of shit.
all
So-
sorts of stuff. But that's life. That's the human condition, and
And-
that's how people try to deal with it.
And
Like
going
we
back
talk
to
about
what
attitude.
Right. What we were talking about before, you mentioned the fact that when you got out, there was a whole different ecosystem, and you weren't getting paid as much.
Yeah.
And I think that's a failure on our end, on society's end. That's the moment where society has failed you, when you leave the service, something that you did for us specifically, and you aren't
There's no place for your skills,
right. They're like,
whatever they may be. Yours in
Right.
particular seem completely marketable. I mean, you've got hospitals, you've got ambulances, you've got EMTs, you've got
So, like-
so on and so forth. But you told me that none of your qualifications in the
Right.
military
Right.
transfer.
So like
That's bullshit.
when I got out of the military, right, I worked in an ER, right? So where I had advanced burn life support, advanced trauma life support, advanced cardiac life support, right? These are all high level, like, so if you have
Certifications,
you're a registered nurse, you have to get an extra certification for this. If you work in a trauma unit, if you work in a burn unit, if you work in a cardiac unit, you're not getting all three of these. I had all three. Not to mention pre-hospital trauma, tactical combat casualty care. Like, I fucking know emergency medicine.
Plus whatever, and I'm sure, terminology, I don't know, but your basic catastrophic, just keep the fucker alive to get them to
So
that you don't get anyplace else but the military.
I
as far as I know.
emergency medicine, right? Was I ready for when I got into hospital care? Not so much. But if somebody's fucking coding, if somebody's about to die, trust me, you're the first motherfucker. I'm the first motherfucker you want in there, right? Like,
This is why I love training with you here.
This is my.
Whatever happens.
This is what I get fucking.
what's wrong with my arm?
I get amped for. Like, oh, you're about to die. Let me in, coach. Like,
Yeah.
this is what I love.
Yeah.
Right. And love
Sort of
might
it's
be
the-
a bad.
It's the adrenaline
But yeah,
junkie in
like
you
this is
to-
what I have
to,
been
like,
trained
I can
to
help.
do.
Right.
Yeah, let me in. But you know what? The fact that you have, and I don't denigrate this at all, because you have doctors in there that have trained for 4 years in undergrad, 4 years in med school, a 3-year
Residency.
internal medicine residency. Like, yeah, no, dude, you know a lot more about the body than I do. But when it comes to keeping somebody alive, get the fuck out of my way. Because you're looking at a card of how to handle this.
Yeah.
When I'm going off like,
You're looking.
boom,
They're looking at
experience.
long-term treatment. You're looking at let's
Yeah.
make sure he's here for long-term treatment.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things. Like, but the Navy does bad. Like, the Army does really well about this, of transferring skills to civilian jobs. Navy's terrible about it.
Yeah.
But so, like, when I got out, like, all my whole life was a nursing aide, right? Like, before I started the new job. So where I'm teaching women that have 4-year degrees in nursing, here's how you clear an IV line. Here's how you put in an IV. Here's what you do when the shit hits the fan. Here's how you properly, contain, put C-spine immobilization. Like, I'm teaching you how to do this, but you have the 4-year degree. You get paid 3 times more than I do. I'll run circles around you every fucking day of the week.
That's not
but
right.
at the same time, like right now, no, those girls would kill me. I've forgotten a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but you haven't been in it in a while.
Yeah.
I mean, that's That's natural.
But when I got out,
But-
I mean, I was a motherfucker.
Right,
Like,
but
we
the
had,
fact that the hospitals and the whatever it is, American Medical Association,
Yeah.
the Nursing Association, whatever it is that qualifies you,
they do not appreciate our skills.
yeah, and that is not right.
No, because
not-
like
Like,
I mean, even if there's a catch up for the non-trauma part or something that you might not have experience in or something, that would be one thing. But again.
like I said, at the end of the day, I think it is a failure in society's part. My stepdad, I love him to death, but he's all kinds of fucked up, man.
no,
he
no,
is,
but
he is, and he like. There's a moment in my life that I've regretted to this day, man. I think I told you about it actually, where there was a day where I came into my parents' house for some reason. It was like late, and he was sitting there having like some beers. He was pretty drunk by then. And he was watching some fucking Vietnam,
I remember this. Yeah.
some Vietnam documentary, and he's like, "Do you want to have a beer and just sit here?" And I was like, I would, but there's like a bunch of people at my house, or I would just stay here with you. And he's like, I was like, you know what? It's fine. I'll sit. He's like, no, you know what? You're fine. Just go. And I'm like, oh, fuck, dude. It was a tough situation for me specifically. So I left and I told Angela, and Angela's like, you know what? Next time, man, just fucking stay. Done. Yeah.
So, the hardest thing, the worst thing about it is when you go through a military boot camp and you serve in whatever service you are. We all have a Coast Guard, whatever it is. You have this allegiance to this idea, and the flag represents that idea, right? So you are beholden to this set of values, this set of core ideas that you want to happen, right? That this is what you are doing. This is what you're fighting for, right? And is it always true? No. But it is an ideal thing that you want to make true. So when I watch, obviously, like I said, never in combat. I've seen dudes come home from combat. I have friends that are fucked up. I've seen the effects of it, but never firsthand, right? I've seen it second, third hand, right? So, but when I look at, a movie like Saving Private Ryan, right? Great movie. That Normandy scene fucks me up. Because it is just, it's a group of fucking 19-year-olds that are going out there to be slaughtered. Because why? We asked them to do it, right? Was there a draft? Was there not a draft? That's all behind the, whatever, right? But if you look at the guys now, right, there has been no draft since the Vietnam War, right? Everything since then has been voluntary, right? And I still, like I said, all right, so I'm going to give you one story.
After that, we gotta cut it off.
Okay.
It's midnight, motherfucker. I'm fucking tired.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I gotta work tomorrow. So, I'm gonna give you this one story.
By the way, before you go on, Angela, you told me, you were like, yeah, man, we'll record. I might not stay for the whole 2 episodes, but yeah, we'll record.
Right on. So, when I was in Bethesda, part of our job was to take people from the hospital to long-term care facilities, right? So you would get a call, we were on EMS type call. So you get a call at midnight or whatever, like, hey, we got a guy that's ready to be discharged. He's going to a long-term care facility, blah, 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 in the VA, whatever. So, sitting at work one day, got my radio on, get a call that comes in, hey, we got this, and boom, 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 boom. He's going. Okay. Me and my dude, Charlie, we go up, bam, we go and get this dude, right? Not prepared for what I was walking into. Walk into the room, there's this kid and his mom. Guy is 20 years old. He has one below the knee amputee, one above the knee amputation.
Oh, fuck.
One arm has a hand, one arm doesn't have a hand. Okay? This arm that does have a hand barely operates. Can't see out of both eyes, can only hear out of one ear. 20 years old. Got hit with an IED. Marine. We're talking to him. He has slurred speech. He's not all there. but enough to communicate. So we're talking to him, boom. We're driving him down from Bethesda, Maryland to Richmond, Virginia, where there's a VA hospital. His parents live in Virginia, where they can be close to him. So, talking to this guy, he's like, yeah, you know, we're in this fucking thing in Iraq. We're going down this road. Basically, he gets hit with an IED. He was somewhere where he was very highly exposed to it. I think he was a turret gunner, but I don't know. Gets hit. The IED gets hit. Truck gets flipped. 4 out of the fucking 5 people in the thing are dead. He is pretty much dead. Barely makes it out. One of the other other trucks on the convoy get him. Corpsman rescues him. Whatever that is. Boom. He gets out. He's in Bethesda. He's 20 years old. This motherfucker can't even have a drink legally in this goddamn country, and he is fucking goddamn near deaf, dumb, blind, and mute. He has no fucking life for the rest of his goddamn 60 years. And this is his state for the rest of his life. What is that $900 a month doing to him?
Right.
If it's that. I don't know what 100% disability is. Mm-hmm. I don't know. What is that going to do for him?
Yeah.
Fucking nothing. Worst part. Kid had to pee. He still had his dick, luckily. He had to pee. His mom went to go put the urinal underneath him. And I'm like, ma'am, I got this. I got this. But this is what this kid's life has been returned to. He cannot piss on his own. If he needs to pee, his mom needs to hold a fucking bottle next to his dick for him to pee into. That right there is the fucking sacrifice. Mm-hmm. That is the next 60 years of this kid's life. Or next, I'd say 30 years before his mom dies, and now he's left to fucking nursing home people that don't give a flying fuck why he's like this.
Right.
Right?
Actually, that's the one fucking place she doesn't want to work at.
I don't blame her. I hated working at the VA. As an active duty person, I could not stand the way that these people were being treated.
Right.
I can't stand.
Again, not the right thing that should be happening.
No.
To these people who are serving our country.
No.
Right.
Absolutely not. And there's people who are like, oh, veterans, you get 100% if every no.
No, they don't.
No.
I know.
No. Well, they should. No. Like me, I don't deserve 100% benefit because I just fucking did 6 years. But I get what I deserve. If something was to come up, should I have access to health care and all that due to a service-related injury? Not VA? Absolutely. Right? I should have that. But I don't believe that every person who's ever served deserves 100% disability for nothing.
I think logistically you have to draw lines, I guess. And people who are injured during service, whether it be boot camp or whether it be in country, that's
Go ahead.
That is the priority, because you were injured in the execution of your job.
Yeah. If you are disabled or injured related to the duties of serving this country, whatever that is, right? Yeah. You deserve to get taken care of. Mm-hmm.
And supposedly they do. Now, I don't know about that.
They do not.
Okay.
100% they do not. Okay.
They're supposed to.
There's videos
according
of fucking...
to the tiers, they are supposed to.
Mm-hmm. There are World War II vets, Vietnam vets, Korean vets fucking dying in waiting rooms in the VA.
In waiting rooms.
Okay.
Yeah,
so,
that's different. But I mean, in terms of what the benefits are supposed to be.
No.
What they technically have the benefits for.
My thing is, you should have a card that says fucking U.S. Like my license says United States Armed Forces, right? Mm-hmm. That should get you into any hospital and get you the best care that you have ever received if you are in a life-altering event, right? Like for me, if I go in because I have knee pain, no, I don't expect the best fucking care because I was playing basketball with my buddies. Yeah. Not service related. But if you're gonna fucking
a heart
die,
attack or a
yes,
yeah.
I mean, are you out of your
Cardiac
fucking
or-
mind? He shouldn't have to be at the VA. He should be at the closest fucking medical
Right.
facility, 100% covered.
Yeah.
Like, you're out of your fucking mind.
Yeah, all of these topics are really something that needs to be brought up because people don't understand it.
No.
A lot of people don't. A lot of people think everything is perfect and fine, and it's not. And I think there comes a point that, where somebody has to open their eyes when it comes to a lot of things.
It's like any of the topics that we have talked about tonight, though. Like, right, you're gonna get a much more heated and a much more focused perspective on me, right? Because I am a vet, so I have a lot to say about veterans
totally.
issues, right? But it's the same as you're gonna get with African Americans, which I hate that fucking term.
Yeah.
I hate Hispanic American terms.
Yeah.
Either way, if you're gonna get Americans of several different colors or national origins or shades, whatever it is,
anything.
you're going to get a much more heated debate from one of them because they've lived that life.
Yes.
Right.
So like I said, the country is in a flux where we need to improve on shit, but at the same time, we are working towards it. Like, the Veterans Administration is better than it used to be. The
Do it on your
relations between
Stand
different
on your
nationalities is better
On
than
your
it used to
phone.
be. So keep on marching forward.
Right.
That's the goal, right? Is to march forward.
Right.
Not to constantly stare in the background, but march forward. Understand the rules.
In unison.
Yeah.
And with that, I'm gonna.
He's gonna suck
He's
a
cutting
dick.
us off.
I'm gonna keep, dude. I could keep you here all fucking night,
Yeah,
and you guys
you
would be
could.
talking. All right. No, these are really good, and we're gonna have you on, Diane, again, so we can maybe dive a little deeper with more time.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, on that. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining the Designated Drinkers podcast. Our crowd went from, what was it, 5, 4,
6.
6, 5, 4, and now 3 of us. So my name is Carlo.
Angelo,
Diane.
Thank you for joining the Designated Drinkers podcast,
keep on drinking.
and support your veterans. That too.